देखे क्रिकेट टीवी जहां मिलेगी क्रिकेट की सारी बातें जहां जोश भी है जहां होश भी है जहां क्रिकेट है आओ देखे क्रिकेट टीवी।
हेलो एंड वेलकम टू क्रिकेट टीवी। वी आर बैक विद प्रीव्यूज। आज जो है खास दिन है, 2 मैचेस खेले जाने वाले हैं तो हम लोग प्रीव्यू करेंगे एंड वी स्टार्ट विद गुजरात जायंट्स विद यूपी वॉरियर्स। तो आज खेला जाने वाला है मैच, इसके बारे में बात करते हैं। Well, it's a women's IPL and Gujarat Giants is showing quite fiery batting power. उनको international experience भी है, and with seasoned batters like Beth Mooney, we can expect some strong and dominating performance. तो हेतवी क्या कहेंगे? What would you say about Gujarat Giants versus UP Warriors? What is your first comment?
I think this match will be about new identities settling under pressure. I mean, these are both the kind of teams that we have seen them play, and the squads have been reshuffled quite a lot. So they are both, I think, under new captainship, and it
Yeah.
will be really interesting to see how this game comes up, how this game is played.
Yeah, and even UP Warriors has a new captain, Meg
Yes.
Lanning. So I
Yeah.
think it's leadership for them as well. Sir, what would you say, Nikhil sir?
I think it's an afternoon match. थोड़ा adjustment करना पड़ेगा because you can't go by what happened yesterday. This is the
Yeah.
first match that is being played at 3:30, and playing conditions when the sun is out and the clear sky and humid, a little humidity will be there in the air. It's going to make a big difference on how the bowling comes through, and fielding is not going to be easy under the sun. So I think UP is playing 2 such matches. I think this one and another 4 or 5 days from now. So they will have to make that adjustment because the other matches are the evening matches. And I think any team that plays both the slots is at a slight disadvantage because they have to change their mindset from one match to another. Whereas those who play in the evening slot, they don't have to do that. So I think यूपी के लिए वो चैलेंज होगा कि ये पहला एक और दोनों टीमों के लिए ये पहला मैच है 3:30 बजे दोपहर के स्लॉट वाला, और अभी तक वो कोई मैच हुआ नहीं, पहला मैच है। तो क्या कंडीशंस होंगे उस वक्त, वो थोड़ा उनके लिए एक क्वेश्चन है, जो एडजस्टमेंट और एडेप्टेशन थोड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाएगा कि वहां पे फील्ड के ऊपर, पिच के ऊपर एडजस्ट करना, एडेप्ट करना जरूरी होगा, on depending on the condition and how the ball is moving or how the pitch is behaving. I think that's critical. Otherwise, as Hetvi said, both the teams have gone through quite a shift and a lot of changes. So it's a new unit. You can't go by last year's performance, which you can for maybe a Bangalore or a Mumbai or even a Delhi, because they still have a certain retention of a lot of their old team members. Whereas these two teams have come up with some new additions and which could tilt the balance. And UP on paper is, I think, the most, yesterday we discussed it on the previous, one of the most balanced teams of these 5, with the addition of Meg Lanning and then of course Dipti Sharma being there, and the type of people that they have in the team is something that I think makes them one of the favorites. Gujarat, as I mentioned yesterday, also a day before, that they have the best foreign players. The six players that they have are top of the line. So whichever 4 they choose for this match are going to make a big difference. And I think how they play, how the foreign players are going to be performing today is going to be critical for Gujarat. I think it's going to be a great match. The first match is going to be super, super duper. Both teams hungry. UP, I think, finished 3rd or 4th in the previous series last year, and I think Gujarat lost in the finals. They lost against Mumbai. Am I right? Oh, it was Gujarat, right? It was Mumbai versus.
They could be in top 3, not finals. Finals, it was always Delhi. So
yeah. Sorry. So it's that both teams have something to prove, and whilst they both have very strong teams on paper, they have not really, been able to justify that talent. And UP has spent a lot of money on retaining people. On Meg Landing, they paid 2.9 crores to get her on board and to retain Dipti Sharma and 1 or 2 other players who had to be retained, others would have to be let go. So I think that they spent a lot of money on that to get that thing together. So hopefully that investment will pay off. And I think I would think between the two teams today, on paper, UP seems to be a little stronger. But again, I keep on saying that one person who stands up like Dick Luck did yesterday is going to change the course of the match.
Historically, so if you see, both the sides have had their share of wins and losses, but in the past season, Gujarat Giants had they had a mammoth 81 run win. So I think they have the capacity to bat and ball both. But what I would like to ask is that what do you think? Who do you think which side has a stronger bowling unit, and which one is very strong on batting?
Hetri, you go first.
I'm not sure. I mean, they look quite balanced on paper, like you, Nikhil sir just mentioned. Ki on paper they are looking good. Gujarat is overseas. Gujarat has overseas power. UP Warriors has a lot of domestic Indian players, great players. You know, we have Kranti God, Dipti Sharma. We have there was another one, Pratika Rawal, and we have seen them in World Cup, and they've all played really well. Uh, I won't say which team is heavy, but I think the this match will show us that which team adapts fastest. You know, the team that will adapt fastest to the current squad will lead the tournament.
I think if you analyze the bowling, and I think, Priya, if you ask that specific question, I think if you split up into pace and spin, the pace, I think they're evenly matched because India's two opening bowlers are one each. So you have Kranti God in UP and you have Renuka Singh Thakur in Gujarat. They open the bowling for India in the World Cup. And they are two of the best bowlers that India has to open, right? So I think quite equally balanced, very different types of bowlers. Renuka Singh is more slower, but more on the dot, swings the ball, troubles the batsman with her a very unpredictable action. Kranti got very fast, very aggressive, can bounce the ball, can bring the ball onto the batsman's with surprising speed. So different types of bowlers, but very effective in their own way. The difference between the spin attack, and I think that's where UP has a slight edge because with Deepti Sharma there and that wide, I just love Pratika Rawal's bowling. She is unpredictable. She can come. She's like a Ravindra Jadeja, batting and bowling. And Ravindra Jadeja is a magician. Pratika Rawal is sort of like that. She can come in and upset the rhythm of the batter, and either take a wicket or just strangle them and not allow them to make runs. So I think that is something that Gujarat does not have. That type of batter who is also a bowler who has that quality. I think that could change the balance from a bowling perspective. Where if Pratika's bowling works today for UP, I think that's where the difference also could come in the run rate that Gujarat can get if they're batting first or if they're chasing. That can make a big difference. The 2 overs that Pratika might get.
How about the recent squad changes? Do you think that they can swing the balance either way, Hitvi?
That's what I mean. They'll have to figure it out. Both the teams, they are quite new as such. They have not played together as a team. So this match will show us that, the early momentum that takes place. But I think
Two very
yeah,
experienced captains, Hetvi, I think so. I think,
yes.
even with new people, they can work wonders. Ashley Gardner is a great captain. Meg Lanning is a great captain. I think the leader always makes a difference, right? So if you have two very strong leaders standing there and coming from an international background, you have that extra aggression and that extra, they don't have to prove anything to your local crowd. The pressure comes onto the local players, right? Because somebody is there sitting in the stand, shouting for you and supporting you. These people are more relaxed and more focused and don't have to worry. But that pressure is not there. I think that's going to make a big difference, Gordon. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Could be.
Anything? Yeah. Go
No,
ahead.
One point, Hitri, before you come in, and I let you finish. In UP there's a slight weakness they don't have a frontline wicket keeper
Yeah.
because they have people who
Chitra.
also do wicket keeping.
Yeah.
She priced them, but it's complete inexperienced.
Yeah.
So that they don't have a wicket keeper like a Richa Ghosh or somebody who's very strong and comes in and does wicket keeping and also does batting. So this is where probably there is a little bit of a weakness in the team. Otherwise, on balance, UP is very, very good today. HV, please continue and you can wrap up.
No, no, definitely, I agree. Both the teams have their plus and minuses, but this time I think Gujarat Giants have the right tools to be the dark horse. Like you said yesterday, they are the dark horse, and they have that. If their batting clicks and the bowling can control the momentum, I think they have the edge today.
Absolutely. I agree with you. So let's look forward to very, very tightly fought match.
Exactly. Well, so that's it on this match. We move on to MI versus DC, which will be the second match that will be played today. And it's a new leadership for Delhi Capital. Then we have Jemima Rodriguez as a captain there. She makes a debut in the team. So, Hetwi, what do you think about these teams with MI losing out on yesterday's match? Do you see them coming up with some strategy for today's match?
Definitely, and I think while they have less time, and I think playing back-to-back games does not really help, but they'll come back stronger. They will come back stronger. They'll want to come back stronger. And the team on paper is quite well balanced. They can defeat another team anytime. So MI will be favorites. It's at DY Patil, so definitely they'll be favorites. Delhi Capitals come with different captainship now, and Jemima will captain a team for the first time. So it will be interesting to see how she leads Delhi Capitals, because the previous captain, she led Delhi Capitals to finals for all 3 seasons. So we'll see how that works out.
So what do you have to
Yeah,
say about MI
yeah,
bouncing back?
back to back matches are tough to play, and especially you come out of you have snatched a defeat out of the jaws of victory yesterday for Mumbai,
Yeah.
and at a given point of time, you never thought they could lose that match, and they did. So they're coming in with a slight droop of the shoulder, a slight frown on the face, a little bit of disappointment. So that extra motivation will be required by Harmanpreet to push the girls and say, forget yesterday, today's a new day, don't worry about it. And then you're fighting, you are against a local darling, Jemima. She's a Navi Mumbai girl, though
Yeah.
she's captaining Delhi. So you're going to have a lot of support. Like, I try to compare with Shreyas a year captaining Punjab and playing in Mumbai because Shreyas is a Mumbai boy. When he plays in Mumbaikars love him as a cricketer, right? Similarly, I think Jemima is going to have local support, even though it's Delhi versus Mumbai. And I think she has a point to prove. And I think the hunger that she's got is we know that. We know from her post World Cup victory speech where she's coming from and how ambitious she is and how strong she is as a character. So I think it's going to be a great fight between again two captains as I talked about in the first match, two foreign captains. Now you have two Indian captains. कांटे की टक्कर होने वाली है दोनों एकदम स्ट्रांग औरतें हैं दोनों स्ट्रांग लीडर्स हैं दोनों अपने दिमाग में बहुत ही स्ट्रेंथ रखते हैं किसी भी सिचुएशन को हैंडल करने के लिए तो मेरे ख्याल से ये भी कांटे की टक्कर होगी और लिटिल बिट ऑफ आई थिंक दिल्ली हैज अ slight edge with Sneh Rana being there. I think that cricketer, she's so good. I sometimes I think she's on par with Dipti Sharma. It's just that sometimes she doesn't perform to her potential. So she sometimes gets slips into the background. But if you see her performance as a bowler and a batter, I think she can be as effective as Dipti Sharma is for India. And I think she's brilliant. And Alana King, oh my God, I watched her in the World Cup. She can bat, she can bowl, she can field, she can do anything. So I think slight advantage towards Delhi, I would say slight, because on paper, but depending on how Mumbai's team stands up with Sajana having played a fantastic match yesterday, and Grace Harris, was she the person who played? Kamalini played a good match yesterday. Sajana played a good match yesterday, and I think Manjot Kaur has to come to the party. She's not discharge herself. She was okay. She was average yesterday. I think she needs to really chip in with the bowling. Nicola Carey batted well yesterday along with Sajana. So I think Amelia Kerr has to prove that she's a good opening batsman all over
Yes,
again, in spite of having played for so many years. I think yesterday was a blot on that with 15 runs of 35 balls or something like that. So I think all in all, again, a very, very good match, evening match, two good captains, two very strong captains. On balance, slight edge to Delhi, but
Hmm.
anything can happen.
Absolutely. And Delhi versus MI, if we see, they've fought very closely fought games and they've played very closely fought games. And Delhi has had a slight edge over Mumbai. So, do you think that MI needs to work on the top order?
yeah. This could be the match that flips the dynamics. I mean, MI needs redemption and Delhi needs confidence to start the tournament. So they'll fight, and it will be another, last ball played match.
Yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
the redemption thing that we talked about, I think very critical that if team loses two matches on the trot, it's difficult to come out of that. Because certainly you suddenly become the underdog, and in spite of your having been, you're the current champions, you hold the cup, but like Chennai Super Kings, what happened to them 2 or 3 seasons ago in the men's IPL, and from top of the table to bottom of the table, same with Mumbai Indians, 9 and 10 were CSK and MI, right? So
Mm.
you don't want that. MI doesn't want that. They don't want to be suddenly flipping from position number one to position number N, and that's not good for them. So I think for them it's a must win because otherwise the momentum will go away from them, and it'll be difficult for them to bounce back. Delhi comes in as very strong on paper and a new captain wanting to prove herself. So again, never know. It's going to
Never
be
know.
humbling her. Yeah, it's going to be
But
humbling her.
Jemima Rodriguez is debuting as a captain, so do you think that that could influence their decision making in key moments?
So, she's played with the best captains. You have to see whom has she learned from. And if she's in the Indian team, obviously she says Hari Didi, everybody calls her Harmanpreet Hari Didi, right? So she has
Uh,
watched Harmanpreet as a captain. And now she has
Mm.
Harmanpreet against her as a captain. So when that happens, I think the advantage lies with the student, not the teacher, because the student knows
Right.
exactly what the teacher is thinking, and
Mm.
and then the student brings in her thought process. The teacher doesn't know what the student is thinking, right? गुरु को नहीं पता शिष्य क्या सोच रहा है, शिष्य को पता है गुरु ने क्या बोला है और क्या करने वाली है. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा एडवांटेज मुझे लगता है कि जमाई माँ की तरफ होगा, बिकॉज शी मे कम अप विद दैट महेंद्र सिंह धोनी टाइप ऑफ strange decisions that look strange on paper or look strange at that time, but turn out to be huge successes. So I think that element of unpredictability is going to play in favor of Jemima, and I think she can afford to experiment. Harmanpreet cannot afford to experiment. She's got to win, and you can't win with experimentation. You got to win on the basis of experience, skill, and knowing exactly what's going to happen. So I think to that extent, Harmanpreet at a disadvantage. Jemima has that extra element of surprise that could change the match.
Yeah. What score are we expecting today?
150, 150-ish is good. Looks good for this
The
match.
the pitch, I think the pitch by itself, Priya, doesn't look to be a unless they change the pitch today. If they're playing on the same pitch, but if they go to a adjoining pitch and if that pitch is
Mm.
flatter, and yesterday I thought it was not flat. काफी भूखा था उसके ऊपर. A lot of dust was there. The ball was doing things. But if it goes to the parallel pitch, and I don't know what the pitch report, but if it's flatter than yesterday, then you could have a high scoring match because it's afternoon and fielding is
Mm.
difficult. So it's that the batting the team playing first will have an advantage according to me. So let's see where that goes. But I think all in all, given yesterday's experience, it's not going to be a high scoring series throughout all the matches.
Yeah.
Right. So, any more comments on this before we wind up?
No, not from me. Hetvi, you can have the last word.
No, all good. I think MI are favorites, and I'll stick with MI. This is me sneakily being
So
biased to
my
one
my
team.
heart my heart says MI, माइंड
It
ये
says Delhi.
मतलब दिमाग है कि मानता नहीं, क्या करें. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
So let's watch the match. We have two exciting matches today. So let's watch and we'll come back with the review soon. Thank you so
Tomorrow.
much for joining us today.
आओ देखे क्रिकेट टीवी जहां मिलेगी क्रिकेट की सारी बातें जहां जोश भी है जहां होश भी है जहां क्रिकेट है